Thank you all for joining us today. We are joined together with Amit Choudhary from DawaaDost. Amit is a chartered accountant and has 18 years of successful career in corporate finance and investing. And he's become an entrepreneur in 2018 with DawaaDost. He has had the opportunity of building distribution supply chains for PNG, both in India and Asia, and was in the early tech stage with Snapdeal as a partner in Motilal Oswal Private Equity. That's a quite diverse field, Amit. But going forward, he's here to tell you something about an interesting startup that we at Edge thought we would want to introduce you to. And I'm not going to steal his thunder, but I can tell you that someone like Amit is really crucial to our mission at Edge, where we bring together entrepreneurs from different fields and we allow them to get access to other entrepreneurs in the Edge group, investors and different other operators. So I want Amit to take us to a journey about what is DawaaDost, how did Amit get there, and what problems is he solving for us, and let him take us to that journey and tell us how we could contribute or be a part of this. Over to you, Amit.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I know it's a tough call, just post dinner or pre-dinner, depending on where you are. So I'll try and keep this brief and give you a quick introduction about myself and how did we end up starting DawaaDost. So journey of DawaaDost started in 2015. I was coming back from Singapore, had this urge to do something to give back to society, and we stumbled upon healthcare and affordable healthcare as a concept. Then I don't come from a healthcare background. None of our three founders do. And we started this journey in 2018 and said, okay, so what does it take to take this idea national? And that's where a commercial business called DawaaDost was born. So between 2015 and 2018, we were running DawaaDost or DawaaDost, as we call it, as a CSR activity. DawaaDost still continues in Ranchi. We service around 70,000 people a month there. But DawaaDost is an attempt to kind of create and solve for Bharat. And during this course of this presentation, I'll keep shuttling between Bharat and India. What I mean is India is where a lot of us stay, large cities, well-to-do families, etc. The top of the funnel that everyone works on. Our focus at DawaaDost has always been Bharat, which is roughly what I mean is give or take 1 billion Indians. And whatever we end up doing is trying to solve for 1 billion Indians here. Today, we believe there are 1 billion Indians which can't afford 4 different things. One is they don't have access to good quality medicine. And again, it's a bit of a paradox because India has the largest number of offline pharmacies globally. We have give or take 800,000 pharmacies, but 1 billion Indians still don't have access to good quality medicine. And again, think of Bharat, go deeper into the country and you start having that problem. Problem number 2, affordability, right? And again, India, biggest paradox, India is the largest supplier of medicines globally, affordable medicine, but still 1 billion Indians can't afford medicine. And a lot of studies happening saying, a big part of India kind of goes through this vicious cycle of not being able to afford their medicines and stuff. There's 2 other problems that we've identified as part of our journey. One is around awareness of the medicines. So today we look at people and people don't know what medicines that they've been prescribed, right? Every doctor, and I know we have some doctors on the panel today, we don't have the time or appetite to write and explain what the medicine is. They do a great job explaining what the therapy is, what the disease you've gone for. But so we've kind of built something to solve for that as well. And the last piece is around medicine adherence. It's a global phenomenon. There is enough work that's happened on adherence globally. But strangely, in India, 1 billion Indians don't adhere to their medicines or whatever the doctor has prescribed. They don't take it for the duration and the time frame that the doctor has written this for them. This kind of leads, a need to kind of create something which is digital platform for consumers focused on the Bharat part of India. And I kind of keep repeating myself on Bharat saying, whatever we build, what does Bharat mean for us, right? We need to have a tech first solution, but we need to make it really, really simple so that it's applicable and workable for 1 billion Indians. So what we are doing at DawaaDost is not trying to recreate something which is a small cohort of say 10, 20 million people. Everything that we build, and we'll kind of showcase some of that to you today, is with the lens of solving for 1 billion Indians. And that's something that's super critical for us. So in a nutshell, DawaaDost is nothing but a consumer healthcare platform built with very personalized tech for all the users that come onto that. We believe by doing this, we are building a comprehensive solution that can serve 1 billion plus Indians as we scale up this business. We are not at 1 billion people today, but that's something that we plan to be in the next 3 to 4 years. right? So we spoke about 4 different problems, and in a nutshell, these are the 4 different things that we are doing to, solve for customers today. Number one is on affordability. Our number one promise to customer is that I will help us save more than 50% of our entire prescription for our entire life, and we'll talk how in a minute. Number two is availability. And we said it's an interesting problem to solve because there are high quality known brands, and we want to take it to be within 5 minutes of every Indian, and that's again a billion Indians that we are targeting. And we kind of figured out a go-to market which is very, very differentiated versus a lot of other players. So that's the second piece that we are working on. The third piece is around medicines and MedWiki. So complex medicine questions answered through simple video format answers. And again, we'll kind of share a little bit. And for adherence, we built DawaaDost, which is a daily reminder for you to take your medicines on time, built on a conversational AI platform there, right? On affordability, these are the 4 things that we are doing and building. Number one, we are building trust, and that's the fulcrum on which the entire DawaaDost journey resides, right? What we are trying to do is sell you known brands. Think of brands like Abbott, Cipla, Alkem, Lupin, Sun Pharma, and I will sell that to you at an everyday right price, right? Key promise is 50% or higher savings. B, it is all powered by better search versus more brands. So what we're trying to do is also remove the paradox of choices for our consumers, because she doesn't have the time or the appetite to understand technical details. So we built India's only perfect search engine, which kind of helps you get to what is the right recommendation for your medicine. Third piece is better range. If you recollect, we promised to our consumers that I will solve 100% of your prescription, for your life. So today we have more than 70,000 medicines, which kind of save more than 50% to the customer. We believe we are the largest range provider in the country today. And the last piece is, to build simple choices. As I said, we don't want to bore our customers by saying, you have thousands of choices to choose from. So we give her only one choice per molecule. It improves our supply chain capability in the backend, but more importantly for my user, it just makes her journey into healthcare very, very simple. She just has to toggle between a brand that her doctor has prescribed and a brand that DawaaDost has recommended. And that's the only choice I want her to make on this journey. Search, as I said, is the main, core in terms of what we are building. There are a few things that we've done on search. There's a long journey ahead of us. Today, what we have is a proprietary search engine is based on metadata tag based searches. That's what we are doing. As an example, if you search for Amlip 5 mg on my site, you will get these answers. What we are moving that to, because a customer also has multiple questions, is to get it to an AI-enabled natural processing on that piece today as well. The second piece that we are building is enhancing voice search capabilities. Today, you can search in Hindi and English on my site. We're adding more regional languages there. 20% of all searches in India are already on voice, and that's something that we are building and will launch in the next 3 to 4 months. The last piece that we want to work on over the next 12 months is use image AI to kind of help our customers check out in less than 60 seconds. So that's our long-term plan on search. In terms of availability, that's the second piece, and we're very, very interesting stuff that we've done here. We've reinvented dark stores. We've kind of opened up physical stores in high frequency locations like railway station, bus stand, metro station, where a lot of what we call Bharat customer travels today. And that's something we are building these. Each of these stores have fulfillment capabilities. So the back end of it, all the stores that we run are powered with a complete fulfillment ability. So think of it as distribution networks that we build across India. We are present in 10 cities as we speak today, cover 19,000 pin codes for deliveries. In terms of the reaching a billion Indian, the biggest innovation that we've done is figured out a way of selling medicines via Kirana stores. Kirana stores own 2 things. They are omnipresent across India. So you go any part of India and you will have Kirana stores there. And that's something we want to build on. Secondly, they also own trust in every geography, in that local ecosystem. And that's something that we want to tap into using Kirana stores. So as we speak, we have 2,500 such partner stores working with us in terms of selling medicine. And on the digital side, what we wanted to do was give our customers an endless aisle experience. So today, we are delivering more than 90% fill rate to our customers using a digital shelf in the front from a customer experience standpoint, and having a digital warehouse in the back end, and we'll talk about that in detail a little later. But that's how we kind of do that, and again use a lot of tech to kind of deliver all of these results. On MedWiki, we spoke about the need. So interestingly, we first stumbled upon MedWiki as a problem when we were building DawaaDost. Customers used to come and ask us कि दवाई क्या है, and that is the only thing we wanted to solve for. कि दवाई क्या है का answer DawaaDost should own. Correct. So we built MedWiki as a short format vernacular video platform. All questions around MedWiki are answered through that. We are very happy to share that we have now more than 700,000 videos on our platform in 6 different regional languages. We've had more than 30 million impressions already over the last 6 to 8 months since we've done. All of this is built today using an AI-powered video generator that we've built for ourselves. So we don't have obviously the capability to do so many videos through a physical shoot format. So we use a lot of technology to kind of bring the videos to life in real time as well. Today, we are globally the #1 content owner on what is this medicine. And there are only 2 interventions that we've done. We've given the customer answers in a language that she understands, which is say the regional language. And B, the quality of the content is being drummed down to a common person like me, and not to someone who understands medicine or has studied medicines, right? So this is not targeted towards educating doctors or caregivers, but this is targeted towards educating the Bharatian consumers. The last piece that we spoke about was around DawaaDost. We have now 60,000 plus users using DawaaDost. It's all built on a simple conversational AI technology platform that we built, where you get a call very simply saying, good morning, good afternoon, depending on how you digitize your prescription. Have you taken your medicine now? And we can currently read up to 2 sentences in real time in 2 different languages, English and Hindi. And we want to build this up to drive adherence overall for us, right? So last slide from my perspective, this is how our flywheel looked like. Everything, as I said, is revolves around building trust. We're doing a lot of stuff on building trust. So we sell high quality known brands. We give only one simple choice to you as a consumer. We have, that drives better customer experience, right? So we have MedWiki, consistent, suggestions on medicine, DawaaDost for reminders, etc. And that is kind of driving us to more and more reach. So today, we have reach, like monthly reach of close to 40 million people in India. And one of the digital part of it is driven by MedWiki. Everything else is driven by the high frequency stores that we have. This is leading to more and more sellers joining our platform. So we have now 2,500 Kirana stores, 70 of our DawaaDost Coco stores, all working in tandem to do this, driving a very high repeats. Overall, we currently have more than 40% repeat rate at DawaaDost. A lot of the repeat rates also translate into higher share of healthcare wallet from the customer. All of that leads to higher growth, obviously. So we have a history of growing 4x every 12 months. We are trying to crunch it to 8x this year, and we will see how that goes. And then growth leads to better procurement margin. So over the last 3 to 4 months, we've improved our procurement margin between 300 basis points to 500 basis points. All of that goes back to the consumer, and that's the whole flywheel that we build right there. So today we own pricing in the market. DawaaDost recommended medicines are not sold at that price by anyone, even our largest competitors or a small player in the market. We own consumer pricing on that side, right? We have 3 founders. I spoke about myself, and we have Yash and Anirudh, along with whom we started this. Yash has around 13 years of experience as an entrepreneur. He's built real estate, worked in real estate companies, and built around 2.5 million square feet of real estate before he started DawaaDost. Anirudh joined us as a sometime last year as a co-founder and lead tech at DawaaDost for us. Right. In terms of people, we've raised external capital till date. Roughly $300 million is what we've raised. We've been blessed. Roughly $1 million has been invested by me and my family into the business. And we've been very blessed by having some interesting people back us, right from Kunal, Saurabh, Amrish, Ashish, or Choudhary, Shankar, etc. We've been very, very lucky to have some of these people on our cap table over the last 2.5 years of our journey. Happy to take questions. This is all about us in a nutshell. Any questions I can help answer, that would be awesome.
Amit, thank you for a fantastic presentation. So I think I have been witness to the DawaaDost journey, and I have been fortunate to see it right from the start. but would be very interesting to understand that in terms of your strategy, while you started with focus on tier 2, tier 3, how are you looking to kind of expand this across more locations? And how are you targeting your customers in new locations, right? Because while healthcare is the need of the hour, and medicines affordable, and medicines, the availability is starkly very limited in tier 2, tier 3 locations. People don't know really about what can be the possible things. So how are you planning to go about the top down strategy?
Yep. So Ratna, great question. So, for us, Bharat stays everywhere, right? There is a Bharat within Bombay. So Bombay is not necessarily a tier 1 city. It's a super metro, but, from a population mix standpoint, you will have different set of people. So we are trying to solve for Bharat. So we need to be in some of these large cities for that purpose. So what we are doing, Ratna, is, we're trying to figure out where are these high frequency locations for two primary reasons. One, it gives us great fulfillment points, right? So think of a railway station where there is already a network of distribution built in, and we are right there. It gives me both ability to reach consumers faster, because like a typical railway station, Bombay is Bombay is a hyper station, but say New Delhi, Anand Vihar railway station, our first experience, we get around 130,000 people a day moving in and out of that station. And that's a reach that you can't get anywhere else in India, right? Like in terms of a concentrated geography. What it's also interestingly done, Ratna, is because of the brand awareness at that station, it gives me great visibility for repeat customers. So a lot of our digital orders today would come from Eastern UP, Bihar, Jharkhand, some part of West Bengal, primarily because some of these trains kind of start and originate in those destinations. So, people kind of see us consume or might buy a one or two strips of medicines here, but they will kind of want us to repeat with them on that front. So I think that's something that we are building for Bharat in terms of reach, like finding these pockets of really high frequency locations and using them. In the larger cities, Ratna, we are testing a very differentiated model, and I'll use Hyderabad as an example to make the point. Hyderabad, Apollo and MedPlus as the #1 and #2 player in India in terms of physical locations, both have 320 to 350 stores in that city. Right. Today, we've opened up 20 railway metro station stores in that city with an ability to service 90% of all people staying in Hyderabad in less than 2 hours in a profitable manner. So this is not we going into a zone, because we've picked up the stations and the location depending on, again, where the people are staying and, working on that. And that's how we want to build this. It's a digital platform. We want to reach people. We've still not opened up ourselves to a marketplace model of saying, let everyone come in, because as I said, we have trust as a main fulcrum. We are not confident right now that, if we open this up, the trust, the work that we are doing to convince a customer saying, high quality known medicine is available at affordable price can be replicated by third party. And that's the only reason we're building these distribution points across India. Today, Ratna, we are at roughly 40 odd million people reach monthly today, and we want to reach around
That's a whopping number to impact.
Yeah. So, and we want to reach like 200 million a month by 2025. That's our pathway in terms of monthly reach, as we build this.
And, your stores have grown very fast, right? Yep. What is the store count right now? And how are you seeing that grow over the next, 1 to 2 years?
So Ratna, we are at 70 stores now. Each of these stores come with a strategy of driving reach. Right. And within that, there is then, on a separate platform, we have Kirana stores and 2,500 Kirana stores today. Correct. So we look at Kirana stores as a pathway into going deeper into the country in terms of driving reach into the heartlands of India, tier 2, tier 3, tier 4 cities, villages, and towns. We will start experimenting on that starting this quarter. Sometime late this quarter, we will go live in some of these villages. And that's something that we want to build to drive reach there. In terms of overall DawaaDost store, as I said, we want to be at 200 million monthly reach. So we believe, we will move from a 70 store operations to say 300, 350 store operations over the next 24 months to get to that. A big part of our reach, Ratna, is also through MedWiki online, right? Today we get, last month, for example, we had 7 million impressions on MedWiki, all organic, right? Don't do any marketing today, right? And that's something we believe will grow to 30, 40, 50 million monthly impressions as well as we scale up. So we're using a combination of this MedWiki as an online way of driving reach, and these offline high frequency location to build this 200 million pipeline of funnel of consumers.
No, absolutely. No, I totally think that, when you're catering to Bharat, you can't be only online. The touch and feel model is very, very important. I think you guys have cracked it in terms of saying you want to do it through Kirana stores, through your own booths, as well as through MedWiki. And if I'm not mistaken, MedWiki is the only one of its kind thing where you are, doing videos of medicines, its benefits, etc., etc. So how many medicines do you cover under that?
So we have, Ratna, as of last month, 700,000 medicines, 700,000 videos
Wow.
created. We are globally, we have more content now than WebMD has. We have more content than good, people like Mayo Clinic, etc. has. To the extent that, YouTube doesn't want us to, we can't host so many videos. So now we kind of transferred the entire library to DawaaDost.com, because nobody in YouTube history has had such a large library. So by end of this quarter, or say another 3 months from now, Ratna, we will cross 1 million videos. To give you perspective on our capability, Ratna, we generate 1 video per 6 minutes per server instance. So it's just a function of putting more money into the server and like firing up more server instances, and we can accelerate this journey even faster.
Right. That's fabulous. I mean, just talk a little about the generic thing, right? Because when people think about medicines, until now, our doctors used to prescribe the brand, right? For reasons known to everyone. But now they are required to write, like instead of Crocin, they need to write paracetamol. So how do you guys manage to convert from one brand to another, leading to a 40 to 60% saving in the cost for your patients? How does that work? Because the reliance on the doctor is very high. I totally understand. In tier 2, tier 3 is people go to the chemist and say, give me medicine for this, give me medicine for that, where the chemist holds the power to do that. But how are you guys managing this? Because it's a huge trust factor.
Yep.
And talk a little about the generic part also.
Yes. So fun fact for everyone on the call. India is a pure generic market, right? 93 to 95%, depending on who you ask. Of what we consume as medicine in India is all generic, right? Non-patented medicines. Now, historically, India has had two different, non-generic medicines, generic medicines being sold. One is what we call a branded generic, which is what, say, a doctor recommended brand that you typically get. And I wouldn't fault the doctors for this at all, Ratna. Like, historically, if your doctor even told you, take generic, how would you go and find, right? And if you see the search engine that we built for ourselves using a proprietary 4-tick process, is purely from that perspective, Ratna, saying, I want to tell my customer there is an affordable medicine available. I'll give a simple example, Ratna, and why am I not blaming a doctor on this? Right? The simplest medicine in India is pantoprazole 40 mg, right? Pantocid, I'm sure 100% of the audience here would have consumed that today, right? There are 2,200 such brands available in India selling pantoprazole 40 mg tablet or capsule in India. Now, if I was a doctor and you were a patient, how do I tell you which is like if I write pantoprazole 40 mg, you're left at the mercy of the chemist to buy which medicine is right for you. And that's the reason we built our entire platform on known medicines, known brands at high, at right prices. Think of brands like Cipla, Alchem, Abbott, Sun Pharma, Lupin, name the top 10 pharma companies, and we would sell their medicines at this pricing. So it's a unique business opportunity, Ratna, for us. This is not a charity that we are running, where we can build and can deliver savings to consumers, very, very different versus a discount model or an e-commerce led kind of a model, where we can provide deep value and make a lot of money in the process as well on the transaction. For a doctor, anyone on the call, and I saw a couple of doctors on the call, so anyone can fire up DawaaDost.com. It's a free site. We don't even ask you to log in. You can check any medicines. We have now more than 300,000 medicines on the platform. And you can check the medicine and the best suggested medicine. You can choose to buy from DawaaDost, or you can choose to buy from your local pharmacy, whatever. But that's something that we want to build. Like a search is something that's very, very core and fundamental to us.
Amit, I think there are a lot of questions that are coming up on the chat. I will open up the questions to the audience very soon. One last question, which a lot of people I think have in mind, is you want to just talk a little about the unit economics, and then we can, open up the questions to the audience.
Ratna, can I share a slide just to have one place and we can talk?
Absolutely.
So this is our typical unit economics, and I'm benchmarking this to an average e-pharmacy unit economics, right? So assuming you're a patient, Ratna, you walk in with a prescription, average roughly 1,000 rupees is the prescription value in India today in most places. We deliver as a co-promise 50% saving to you. Any pharmacy at best case, you'll get a 20% discount one way or the other. Right. So the average bill value for us is 500 rupees. For any pharmacy, 800, 900 rupees, depending on who you ask. On that 500 rupees, Ratna, that's where the magic happens. We make around 55% gross margin. That leads to a very dramatic different, gross margin in an absolute term as well. Versus an e-pharmacy or a traditional pharmacy model, right? So we are roughly at 1.8x absolute margin, which allows me to, have a point of parity on shipping and make much higher contribution margin versus everyone else. We think we are somewhere between 3x better to 3.4x better versus a traditional e-pharmacy model at a per prescription level.
Okay. Fabulous. I think the unit economics are so strong. It's all about now scaling it to a different level. So wonderful hearing you, Amit. This story is super inspirational. In fact, this has very high impact in terms of, reaching the right medicine at an affordable cost to a customer who doesn't have access to it. Yep. With this, I will open up the questions to the audience. Rishi, I hope others can directly ask questions.
Okay. Yeah, hi Amit, this is Aarti. Sorry, I've asked you like a gazillion questions. Okay. So I think a couple of themes, right? One is I think it's a fantastic idea. Just curious, how does this stack up versus the pharmacies of the world? I know you showed us unit economics, but conceptually. And the second question is how, So my name is Aarti. I'm in pharmaceutical sales and marketing from an MNC company. And I think, you're solving a very, very interesting dynamic that needs to be solved. But like I said, so two questions. One is, how does it stack up versus the e-pharmacies of the world beyond economics? And the second one is, how are the AIOCDs, the retail stores, retail pharmacies reacting? And can you also comment a little bit on the regulatory aspect? And I think someone else also asked that in the chat. Thanks.
Okay, so multiple questions. Let me answer. So how are we different versus pharmacy or an e-pharmacy model? I think Aarti, the first generation of e-pharmacies built in India, right? So talk about pharmacy, 1mgs of the world. We're all designed like an e-commerce platform, right? They all journey started by, giving you multiple things. I think a few things over a period of time, we've differentiated ourselves, Aarti now. One, we are all about medtech. We don't do anything else. We don't understand anything else, right? So I'm not doing doctor consultation. I'm not doing, lab test. I'm not doing white label medicines, etc. Very, very focused on just helping the consumers get to the right journey. So that's number one. The number two, Aarti, the value proposition is dramatically different. Right. So think of pharmacy, to my mind, as a great solution for India, the top part of the funnel, which needs all those solutions. And, their promise to the consumer is, say, anywhere between 15 to 20% discount, right? And that's typically what we've been seeing over the last 3-4 years. That's been doing. Our promise to consumer in terms of value is more than 50% savings. So, we are very, very different focus area in terms of what do we want to deliver to our consumers. And the third piece, Aarti, is in terms of managing the customer journey on medicines. So today, between MedWiki in terms of education and DawaaDost as adherence, I don't think anyone in India is solving for both of that at all. And that's again how we differentiate. We said, there are different consumer problems. The way we approach this, Aarti, is we think, by solving for all these consumer problems, the absolute category size in India will expand. And we kind of seeing that. So if you look at Jaipur, for example, now, you work in healthcare, if you look at the growth of pharma market in Jaipur versus the rest of India in the last 12, 18, 24 months, I'm not saying all of it is triggered by us, but you will see a sudden expansion of the market happening as well. A lot of reasons. Obviously, we are a very tiny player within Jaipur ourselves. But if you think of adherence in India is only 7 to 8%. If I can nudge it up by a few points, also we're talking about expanding the market size by 30-40%. Right. And that's been our focus area, saying, how do we expand the market? We are not here to win market share. So if someone asks me, Amit, what's your market share? Even in Jaipur, I have no clue. Like, that's not our focus area. Our focus area is more, what do we do to expand the market? What are some of the unmet consumer needs that I can build using all technology solutions for that? So that's the first part in terms of differentiated versus pharmacy, any other e-pharmacy businesses. Second piece is around regulation. And you asked, AIOCD. I don't think there's an AIOCD regulation that applies to us, to be very honest. We've been in existence for 3 years. I hope after this call, we don't get pulled up by them. But yeah, we've kind of survived without any hassle around that. Local pharmacies, no one has kind of complained. Periodically, we do get audited by the local regulators, both here and across India now. And till date, touchwood, we've not had any kind of rub off and saying, do something that, or anyone's come back and said you're doing something which is wrong. Or,
so are you considered a pharmacy or a service? Like, I'm just trying to wrap my head. You get where I'm coming
typical world, we would be a pharmacy. Like 70 stores that I run are like a normal mom and pop pharmacy that you see.
Got it. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Hi, Amit. I think it's a phenomenal model that I saw. This is the beyond imagination that I've actually not heard of it, and it's with such high reach. So we kind of work with Anganwadis. So I wanted to understand if there are some things that you have kind of explored with respect to reaching out to either Anganwadis or ANMs or Asha workers or SAGs to take your reach to the completely rural ecosystem. And one is your is the tech kind of portion reaching there, or is there any way that you have explored that area at all, or you haven't?
No, that's something. So Pranjal, we've not executed, but we built for that, and I will share examples, right? So for say Anganwadis or Asha workers, for example, voice search is super critical. And that's one of the things we built, saying if when she is traveling to rural part of India, can she check, she might not have the capability or the time to type out so many things and do, can she do on that? So a lot of answer your question, Pranjal, we build the tech to go deeper with all these people, self-help group people, Asha workers, etc. The tech is portable to any of them, and the tech is very easy to use from how they would do. So it's not a complex thing saying you need to do 5 different things to get there. Everything that we build typically is with a 3-point checkout mechanism. So similar to this, today we've trained 2,500 Kirana stores who are super busy all the time doing, and they have no clue on healthcare, right? Like the only thing they do great job of is owning trust in that small ecosystem that they work on, and we're just tapping onto that. So I'm sure, like people like Anganwadi, Asha workers. So sometime this quarter we'll go live with them, Pranjal. So for every video that we release and when people watch, we get obviously a lot of data analysis in the back end, right? In terms of the demographic capability, the pin codes where it is being watched from. And that's something that we use a lot to kind of build up our supply chain capability in terms of reach, kind of going back to her and telling. So this is not an entertainment category, right? Someone would come and watch a medicine video either because she is a caregiver to someone else, or if someone has been prescribed the medicine herself. Like there is no third way of someone generally watching a medicine video and stuff. And what we see is because of the quality of the content that we build, we today get an average view time of 83%. On our videos. And these are simple 60-second or less videos. So we don't create anything. Our internal benchmark is anything more than 60 seconds has no use at all. So we again try and cut down the videos into multiple small simple FAQ videos, and saying if you have a specific question around a medicine, we are probably the best place to get answered from. And it's a great virtuous cycle, right? The more videos I release, the more questions people ask. And the more questions they ask, more videos I give back to them, right? And kind of creates a virtuous loop between us and my consumers.
This is Chunky here. Hi, Amit. Yeah, first of all, congratulations. It is a very unique business model and, very different from the other, interesting use of word traditional e-pharmacies, right? Because e-pharmacies themselves are disruptors and, bringing an innovation to that model itself is very good. I think a couple of points I had before I, dive into the question. I think, okay, let me just introduce myself first. So, I work with one of the MNC investment banks covering pharma healthcare. So I have a, bit of knowledge on the health tech space as well. So I think, and that's where, the model that you have come up with is pretty unique. right? And a couple of points that I wanted to make. First was, the data that you are generating, with both MedWiki and adherence, of course, but MedWiki will be very, very useful for the pharma companies. I'm sure you can monetize that, as you create more and more of that data, especially given, they themselves have a issue of reach in Bharat, as you rightly called out. The second point was, I think the service that you're providing is not only for Bharat. I think India, and as you said, rightly said, all of us will also it will be very interesting for all of us as well. Maybe in future, or because so I myself, I think one of your outlets opened close to my house, and a bit of advertising and all, myself, ended up purchasing from there.
Super.
So I think a couple, just quickly the questions. One is, just wanted to understand the 50% margin. How do you, how do you manage that, and how do you work with substitution of generics and the customer experience around it?
Perfect. So Chunky, few questions, so let me answer that. So today, Chunky, what we do in terms of supply chain management is we work back with pharma companies fairly aggressively in terms of finding opportunities in the supply chain. So last month, for example, my procurement margin on DawaaDost recommended generics touched 79%. So we kind of today occupy a very large part of the profit pool from these brands. We pass on obviously some of the benefits back to our customers and retain some of that for ourselves, and that's how we get to 55% gross margin on our products. Second point you asked was around substitution. So I think what we've done, Chunky, is if you recollect one of the things we said, I want to offer you a right brand at the right price, right? We call it the everyday right price, in our internal parlance. So what we do is you search for any medicine. Most likely on our website you will get an example that will come from the House of Cipla, Alchem, and what kind of brands. And that's something that we proactively work on, saying, can I give you only one choice? And we have this proprietary 4-tick check that we do, a pharmacist, and I'm not a pharmacist, so I can't do that on myself. But my B Pharma or an M Pharma person will sign off saying, yep, this is a perfect search result. What I mean is, there are 4 elements to a medicine, and you all are all, like a lot of people here on the call who work on healthcare and medicines, right? There's an API or the salt, as a normal person like me would talk about. There is the strength of the medicine, mgs that they are typically called. The third is how the doctor has wanted you to take the medicine, right? So the form of the medicine in terms of capsule, tablets, syrups, etc. And the last part that is sometimes most people miss out in terms of check is a release pattern of the medicine, which is, say, a very simple example of fast release versus a slow release, right? So if you're a diabetic, a doctor would typically give you a SR medicine because he wants you to that medicine to dissolve in your system over the 12-24-hour window. If you got hurt and your doctor wants you to recover faster, you will give you a fast release, which is takes the pain away quicker and stuff, right? So that's the 4 proprietary checks that we do. And I will always recommend to you as a DawaaDost platform something that ticks all the 4 boxes. So we will not give you 220 mgs for a 40 mg as an example. I will never recommend a syrup for a tablet. Efficacy wise, yes, we can debate, it might be the same, but that's something we hold ourselves accountable for. And that's a check that my pharmacist and the B Pharma and the M Pharma people will continuously keep striving for and stuff. So that's the QA that we have in between to recommend to you the right medicine.
Thanks, Amit, for the presentation. Really excited by what I saw there. So very quick introduction. I've worked with several social enterprises, and most of them were catering to rural India. So for me, I have no experience of healthcare, but Bharat really excited me. And everything that caters to Bharat is of utmost interest. So what I wanted to understand is, how are you planning to get to rural parts? You did mention that right now you are present across several cities. And in how many states are you currently present? Do you have a timeline in how many months, years you plan to penetrate across rural India? Because I think that's where the Amazons and Flipkarts of the world have also, that's where they have faced issues in trying to reach those geographies, and the costs also mark up a lot. So just wanted to understand on that part. I also read 5 minutes access to medicines. So wanted to understand how does that work? Because 5 minutes is the Kirana store, but the delivery time will be separate, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. So what I meant was it is available within 5 minutes of every Indian. Delivery time would kind of come on top of that. So let me try and answer. Raj, thank you. Love to exchange notes on how you worked on these things earlier. But from our DawaaDost perspective, Raj, we are right now in 10 cities. And what we want to do, and within Rajasthan, I'm in 4 cities out of the 10 are in Rajasthan. So I'm in Jaipur, Ajmer, Jodhpur, and Bikaner. What we want to do sometime this quarter is pick up a highway. So obviously our first highway would be between Jaipur and Jodhpur. It's roughly 100-120 kilometer distance between the two cities. And we want to tackle all the small towns, villages that come in between and service them using my infrastructure at Jaipur and Ajmer as well, right? So that's how we are looking at building our infrastructure first in Rajasthan, and before we take the idea, especially the kirana stores outside of Rajasthan as well. And in terms of, sorry, your second question, Viraj, was around the 5-minute piece. Sorry, just let me clarify. What I meant was, if you are staying anywhere in India, I want you to be able to, order a medicine which is of high quality, known brands, very close to you from a person that you already trust. And that's what I mean by the 5-minute rule. Obviously, delivery will happen in a finite time frame. If it's nearer to Jet or whatever of our hubs, between 12 to 24 hours is what we strive to get.
Got it. Thanks, Amit, and would love to connect after this.
Super. Thanks a lot, Amit. I think so. We're done with the questions here. Do you have anything more to share? Probably share a couple of ways if anyone here wants to contribute and be a part of this journey, right, as you scale up. Any notes on that?
No, I think love to kind of exchange notes. I know there's some very interesting people on the call on few things. One, there is a lot of experience on how to go deeper into the country, and love to kind of collaborate and work towards that together as we build this. I know some people from the pharma industries are here, so love to exchange notes with them in terms of how do we improve supply chain from here. As I said, we started this without knowing what we are building and how we are building this. So any inputs is always welcome. Last piece from my perspective, why am I here today? We are raising roughly $1 million as a pre-series A fundraise. As I said, we've raised around $3 million till date, $1 million from my family, $2 million from external people. Out of the $1 million of pre-series A, we have commitment for roughly $720,000 today. And we would love to have some of you partner with us on the fundraise as well and invest between $280,000 to $300,000 US to help build this up for us.
Super. Thanks a lot. All right. So thanks a lot, Amit, for your time and sharing some incredible insights. I'm sure a lot of us on this call didn't think about the way in the approach you've taken to expand in geographies. Like you mentioned, you're not here to fight market share. You're here to create a larger market, and that's exactly what you've been doing. So really inspiring to hear that. Thanks a lot, Ratna, for taking a couple of questions. And so this recording will be up on YouTube. We'll be sharing it across different platforms later. And like Yash mentioned, there's a lot of interest from Edge members. So what we will be doing is, as a follow-up, we'll perhaps figure out a certain couple of details and go back to everyone on this call and folks who missed out as well. All right. Thanks a lot, everyone, for attending, and thanks a lot for the time. Yes.
Thank you so much. Look forward. Bye-bye.